in this video, I'm going to actually go over the most frequently asked question every school year. How can I calculate my final class average? All right, giving you a scenario. Of course, check with your teacher to make sure you have the correct percentages for your class. But let's say, hypothetically, all of your tests are 60%, your quiz and your classwork is 20%, and your final exam grade or your midterm is 20%. Well, your class average before you take your final exam or midterm is going to be your tests and all your quizzes and classwork added together. That's where I get the total of 80, 60 plus 20%. All right, so since that will basically generate your class average before you take your final exam or before you take your midterm, we're going to say that your class average is going to count for 80% of your grade and your final exam is 20%. Okay, so the formula that you will always use is 0.80 times your class average plus 0.20 times your midterm or your final exam grade. And of course, what I wrote up here was just how to convert percentages to decimals. All right, let's look at a scenario. Sally has a 75% class average and makes an 88 on her midterm. What will her final grade be? Since her class average is a 75, I'm going to do 0.80 times 75 plus 0.20 times she made an 88 on her final exam. When I type all of that in the calculator, and by the way, you can type it in exactly the way it looks with parentheses and everything. She gets a 77.6 in the calculator, which will round up to a 78 average. All right, here's the most popular question that everybody always asks. What's the lowest grade I need to make to keep my average? Well, let's look at this scenario. Billy has a 70% class average and wants to know what's the lowest grade he can make on the final exam so he can keep his 70 as a passing grade. All right, so I went ahead and plugged in 70 as his class average grade. We don't know exactly what exam grade he can make quite yet, but we know we want the total to be a 70 because he wants to keep that 70 average. Okay, cool. Let's go ahead and multiply 0.80. Let's do this part right here in the calculator. 0.80 times 70, it gives me 56, all right? I'll bring down my plus sign. Now, we don't have the final exam grade, so we'll call that X for right now. So it'll be 0.20X, and we know he wants to end up with a 70 average. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and solve for X. I'll subtract 56 on both sides. Oops, 56. That'll give me 0.20X equal to 14. And then I'll divide both sides by 0.20. So then that will give me 70. So what this means is that he cannot make lower than a 70 on the final exam or his midterm in order to keep his 70 average. Now remember, this number right here can change based on whatever grade you want to end up with. And that's it.